Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis. We are live here in Dallas, Texas at the 68th Annual Council of Great City Schools Conference here with one of our best superintendents in the nation, right. Dr. Tony Watlington. Thank you so very much, Doc, for being here. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good to be with you this morning.
Yes, sir.
Out in Dallas.
That's right, in Dallas. So let's just jump right in. You know, been in Philly for 3 years. And in those 3 years, and let's be honest, it's not an easy school district. Sure. But you transitioned in, and now you've got this place rolling. What's going on in Philly?
Well, let me just first of all say I'm pleased to work for a fantastic Board of Education.
Yes, sir.
They had a model process for searching for a superintendent. I'm pleased they selected Tony.
That's right.
Philadelphia is a great place, as you said. It's the 6th largest city, 8th largest public school district.
Ooh, you got lots of kids.
Not quite as big as your past.
No, we are right
place.
there, 7 and 8. The same.
But good folks, and we're working hard. Philadelphia is often referred to as the nation's biggest poor city.
Yes, sir.
So as a kid who qualified for free and reduced lunch myself.
Yes, sir.
This is not just a job, it's personal.
Yeah.
We want to show that kids from the other side of the tracks, particularly Black and brown and underrepresented poor white children, can indeed get better if we all aligned our efforts, our time, budgets, professional learning, and all the right stuff.
That's right.
So we put our compass on Mad Negative North.
Awesome.
Improving outcomes for young people. That's what this is all about.
That's right.
So we're off to some good start in Philadelphia, and we've got some early wins that we look forward to talking about.
So let's dive into these wins, Doc. I mean, we get there, we put systems, processes, we build a beautiful relationship with the board. You start to bring in some first-round draft picks around the country for your cabinet levels, and also putting the right, principals in the seats. And we look at analytics. You've had some really good movement in the last couple of years. I think in the last year, you started to outpace a lot of, urban districts or districts around the nation.
Absolutely. In the 2022-23 school year, the district improved in 10 out of 13 areas.
Wow. Congrats.
To include student and teacher attendance, test scores, and the dropout numbers went up. The graduation rate went up.
Awesome.
Dropout numbers went down.
Yeah.
The graduation rate went up. 2 consecutive years, that's the case. Now, in 2022-23, when the Education Recovery Scorecard report came out, Harvard, Stanford researchers, they found that among the big city NAEP tutor districts, the school district Philadelphia led the country in 3 through 8.
Say that again, led what?
Led the big city NAEP tutor districts in 3rd through 8th grade math rebound performance. Now, when we look at 3rd through 8th grade reading in school year 22-23.
Yes, sir.
Chicago Public Schools lay up. Yeah. Philly was number 2.
That's right.
No shade on my good friend Pedro Martinez and the good folks.
Healthy competition always works, Doc.
But we were a little bit ahead of got ahead of LA Unified, so I have to tell Alberto that.
He'll be here tomorrow. We'll give him a hard time. You're watching AC and Pedro. Hey, listen here. He's trying to make it work for you.
Yeah. I've got to speak up for the Board of Education. So,
that's right.
This past school year, we're pleased that we improved in 9 out of 13 areas.
Wow.
And what's really important.
That's a big movement. I mean, it's hard to do in a big. I mean, like you're serving 200,000 students.
That's correct.
So I mean, like being able to move the matrices in all these grade levels, 9 out of 13 is still significant for positive movement.
Let me tell you what I think is really significant to your point about systems and structures, Addison. Year 1, pre-entry, the board allowed me to have a partnership opportunity to work with Bill Height, who did a fine job as superintendent.
Him. Good leader.
Dr. Bill Height. And so we worked together as partners for 3 months before I stepped into the office.
That's smart.
I was able to develop a transition plan, a thoughtful entry process that would engage some 3,000 Philadelphians.
Wow.
In a listening and learning tour in the first 100 days. A transition team with 100 Philadelphians and some national and local experts.
Wow.
And a team that helped us to put together a master plan, a 5-year aggressive strategic plan that's called Accelerate Philly.
There it is, Philly.
Accelerate Philly. It's working. We're moving in the right direction.
I see
Bad stuff is going down. The good stuff is going up. Now, are we perfect? Are we there? No. But here's what we know. Far too many of our children still don't perform on grade level.
Yes, sir.
Far too many kids drop out.
Yes, sir.
I want to be clear about that. So here's how I describe it, Addison. We are on the right track in the school district of Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
We're making some incremental and significant progress in a number of areas, and we've got a long way to go. And we're going to do this work together.
You know what? I got a chance to visit Philly a couple months back and just engage with your administration, cabinet members, academic focus. Love Jermaine Dawson. I think it's an awesome hire for you. He's in the top 100 educators and known VA in the nation. But you've done a really good job bringing individuals together for an outsider.
Yes. And
they had a beloved superintendent and an outsider and getting them to buy into who you are and what you're doing. How do you do that? Because we have so many soups that go in or from the outside, and it's hard to lead that way. It's hard to be successful.
Yeah, I was smart enough to know that, coming from North Carolina, even though my birth state was New Jersey.
Okay.
Coming from North Carolina, and I knew it was going to be important to take the time to build relationships, to give people in Philadelphia, the fine city of Philadelphia, to say, let's get to know this guy. Do we like him? Can we trust him? And it takes time. Trust is the cumulative effect of a lot of small acts over time.
Love it.
Takes a long time to build it.
That's right.
No time to get rid of it. But anyway, so I took some time and did not do anything in the first 100 days, but to truly listen and learn about the depth and breadth of our strengths and challenges. Over time, though, we began to recruit some really strong talent. Now, let me say a word about Dr. Jermaine Dawson, the former chief academic and accountability officer down in Birmingham. Mark Sullivan.
Mark Sullivan. Mark, if you're watching, we're sorry.
Your loss was our gain.
Yeah, right.
But listen, let me tell you why the sports teams in the NFL stay competitive. When you're in a position where you're not winning as many games as you need to, you get the access to the first round draft pick.
That's right.
So I think about hiring as first round draft picks, and I think about being last in the league and how we can win a Super Bowl.
I love it.
So we went out and recruited Dr. Jermaine Dawson. He is a rock star.
It's awesome, man.
He knows instruction.
Yes,
he knows how to move the needle, and he knows how to set up systems and structures. And he's big on accountability.
That's right.
He models what he expects from others.
I love it. Love him. Love Lauren, your chief academic officer. She nice. I mean, these
Dr.
people.
Nye, chief academic officer. We promoted her to chief academic officer.
Awesome. These three are moving in the right direction.
Brought in a strong deputy on operations side of the house.
Yeah.
Former military colonel, Oz Hill. A new communications chief, Alex Coppage, a new chief of staff. And this was really important. My chief of staff was policy secretary to former two-time governor in Pennsylvania,
wow.
Tom Wolf.
Wow.
And so bringing that inside outside team together and then spending the time to develop a real team. So it's not a chaotic administration, but one that you've seen those before somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's right, sir. I
mean,
you go to those storming, you sometimes, and I'm guilty of this. I built a bunch of individuals that are all type A's. They all have giant egos. They were all super smart, and we stormed all the time. But we didn't do what you talked about, like listen, learn to each other, learn to grow about it. I mean, like we just busted through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, and that is not the way to lead. Sometimes you need it, but it sounds like, you were strategically about putting individuals in place and recruiting them to come with you to build the A team to accelerate Philly.
I think two things. One, the board in Philly really partnered with me 3-4 months out from my official start date.
Smart.
To storm and norm, to get to know each other, to really understand. Because let's face it, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the average tenure for superintendents is less than 3 years.
Yeah, it's like an NFL running back.
Like an NFL running back.
2.5 years and they're out.
And you're out. Score as many points as you can. Do it. And number two, my hiring orientation, to your point, I'd rather hire somebody who's going to go really fast and you got to slow them down every now and again, than people who are moving too slow and you got to say, come on, catch up.
That's right.
But that orientation of type A's, you don't have to miss.
There's a balance.
You have to get all these planes to fly at the same altitude, and but it's good stuff.
Good for
you.
We
got a rock star team in Philly.
Yeah,
not just about Tony. I got a great team.
You do, I feel it, but everything's at a cadence of a leader. So that's kudos to you for recognizing it, putting it together, and allowing them to run free and earning some autonomy. Now you got 3 priorities, in Philly. As you continue to lead the nation, and Pedro, he's coming, Alberto, he's coming, right? And Alberto's my mentor, and Nikolai Vitti. But
tell what district in Detroit.
That's right, awesome man.
We study Nikolai in Detroit all the time.
He is one of the best. So talk about the three focal area points that you have for Philly to restore and to accelerate.
Absolutely. Number one, not surprisingly, you won't be surprised by this, is to accelerate academic achievement.
Love it.
Over the past 2 years, we've launched a green rated, according to Ed Report's, math curriculum.
Okay.
We've launched an English language arts curriculum this past year, and they're standardized across the district. And the reason we did that is because we, as the nation's biggest core city with many strengths and opportunities there, we know that we have a number of transient kids. So if Addison Davis leaves school A on Friday, and you show up at school B on Monday or Tuesday, you shouldn't have a new way to learn how we're doing their schooling thing. There ought to be some commonality. Teaching is an art and a science.
That's right.
The science part says we ought not have to figure out 500 different ways to do it. That doesn't take away from a teacher's ability to bring their own creativity.
Yeah, their own swag.
Their own swag.
Yeah, I love that.
Speaking of swag, I think you're probably the best dressed former big city superintendent in America, Addison Davis.
I try to keep up with Doc right here, looking good.
And we're focusing on rigorous core instruction. Dr. Jermaine Dawson's leading that charge. And on the other side of that academic achievement, we're really focusing on how to support our teachers, listen to our teachers, hear the feedback, be partners, because we recognize they are the number one factor influencing student growth, not your race, ethnicity, not your geography, not your income. All of those have a place.
Sure, they all matter and we focus on it.
But for a great teacher, how did Tony Watlington get where he is?
Yeah, that's right.
So number two, we're focusing on improving our customer service, constituent services.
That is big. That's how we win and lose kids and win and lose families.
Absolutely. So under the leadership of our very capable Chief of Communications and Customer Service, Alex Coppage, who we brought in from Mastery Charter Network, who's doing a fantastic job. We've launched a 2-way communication system.
Okay.
You're familiar with it. You've done it a million times. But basically, we want to do 2 things. We want to be responsive to phone calls, emails, or other correspondence.
Sure.
And more importantly, in a timely manner. And the gold standard is 24 to 48 hours or less. And as a complement to that, we want our parents, families, community, and others to rate our performance on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, I don't like to ask people to do things that I haven't done, so I piloted this in my office last year, and I shared with the board and our principals how I did. We had some pretty good. So we're improving customer service because we know we're not the only game in town anymore.
That's right.
The world has changed.
Healthy competition. You have, different educational avenues. And I think that we have one chance to have that first appearance, right?
One chance.
And they build that perception and how we care for them and greet them and engage them and problem solve with them and educate them. It truly matters.
Exactly.
Focal point. Great.
You're right. And the third thing I'll say really quickly, Addison, is we're focusing this year intently on how to build stronger, equal partnerships with our parents and families. So we're doing a couple of things related to that. On the one hand, we've reorganized our learning networks to put our assistant superintendents who supervise schools into 15 geographic quadrants across the city. A lot of big city districts already do that. We want to get those resources closer to home. We know that schools are the units of change. Sure. And so we also want to be able to tap the strengths in the communities. Our mayor, our 100th mayor, Sherelle L. Parker, she tells me all the time, she said, Doc, we ought to be able to draw a 3-mile radius around every school and map out all the resources, supports, grassroots organizations, faith-based organizations, and the like, and figure out how to integrate them with our schooling processes. Smart. So that's why we've reorganized our learning networks. Partnership. And in January, in early 2025, we are going to relaunch what was once known as Parent and Family University. Okay. So that in addition to helping our kids, we don't help our kids, we got to help the parents.
That's right. You know what?
Yeah, we got to help our parents.
It's perfect. I mean, a couple things I want to unpack. The beautiful relationship you have with your local delegation. It's so important to make sure that you and the mayor and local delegates are on the same page, and for you to unpack external, internal resources to make sure there's perfect alignment. It really allows you to not duplicate services and be very surgical about what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're serving, and moving away from developing the whole child to developing the whole family and whole community.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a beautiful strategy of it. The other side of it is the Parent Academy is so important because parents are our first educators.
They're first teachers.
That's right. I love it. That's even better. Talking about how they can help with foundations of literacy, foundation of numeracy, whatever that may be. We need them to be successful. So
we've got to help them with their education. If parents need some help getting a GED, if parents need help with food insecurity and other issues, we've got to be that conduit. Talking about that surgical precision in partnership with the delegation, both the city, the state, and legislators, our mayor, our board, and I have worked together on an extended day, extended year initiative, also related to improving customer service and also partnering with parents and communities. Wow, it's awesome. Off to a great start this year. Great. We're going to grow over time. And the thing you haven't asked me about is the importance of working with unions.
Yeah, there you go.
5 unions in the city. I'm really pleased with our relationship, particularly with the teachers union and the administrators unions. We're working together. We know we've all got to wrap our arms around, and I'm making it sound easier than it is.
No, listen, Doc, I'm glad you brought it up because some people, whether it be boards, superintendents, local delegations, and they take political sides, whatever it may be, in certain states, teachers, employees, they have rights, right? In those rights, they're engaged to be involved in unions. Yeah. As superintendents, it's our job and our role to be a partner in that process. Not saying that we're going to bobblehead and always agree, but bringing them to the table and allow them to be a part of the problem-solving community. And I think that's perfect. I think that only shows because when you talk about negotiations, working conditions, helping them have a better understanding of content we bring in, systems we bring in, they need to be in the forefront of the conversation to help us get stronger every day. And it's beautiful that you have that.
Absolutely. So, and we're a historically underfunded school district. That tide is beginning to turn. So the reason why everywhere I go, I say over the past 2 years, and going into strong year 3, the good stuff is going up. The bad stuff is going down.
I love that.
Test scores, 4-year cohort graduation rate, student and teacher attendance up, dropout numbers down by well over 1,400 dropouts, I should tell you.
Wow.
That's important in Philadelphia because a Neubauer Family Foundation study found that in Philadelphia, the cost for every child who drops out of school before graduating, the cost to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and to the city of Philadelphia is a whopping $405,000.
Oh my God!
You multiply that by thousands of kids.
Wow.
That's a big number that we ought to concentrate on the front end.
Yeah, breaking that cycle.
Instead of doing it on the back end. And, we know how to do this.
Yes, you do.
We just need to have the powers that be, the legislators and our public to focus around supporting public education.
Amen.
And we can't throw away public schools that help create the middle class.
That's right.
Help create the world's largest economy.
That's right.
And the strongest military.
That's right.
It's all worth fighting for. And that's why we got to stay in this fight together.
I appreciate it. And before we exit out of here, Doc, for the maybe superintendents that are listening, those who are aspiring to be superintendents, any words of wisdom to them as they get into the journey? Because this job, we said it before we went on this camera, this job, it's not easy, right? But it's rewarding to the impact that we can have. Any words of wisdom? I would say to prospective superintendents, don't just chase a job. Yeah. Find the right school board to get married with. That's true. Because they get married, divorced really quick all the time, all too often. Number two, I would say know what your internal North Star is, what your priorities are so that you can act consistent with your values, whatever your core values are. Real easy to get away from those pretty quickly in some of these tough places. Third, I would say focus on focus, because when everything is important, nothing is important. And then finally, if you're going to do this job and going to do it more than 3 months, you've got to be able to build coalitions and bring people with very diverse views together. We take this approach, nothing for us without us. That includes teachers, principals, leaders, support staff, elected officials, grassroots organizations. Yes, sir. You got to bring them all together under one tent. That's not easy. It's not. And people are looking for supermen and superwomen these days. And all of us are mortal humans. And so we got to build teams around us. That's right. So don't be afraid to go out and recruit rock stars around you. Don't worry about people. Just think about whether people will outshine you or take your job. You want them to take your job. 100%. You want to prepare them to step in your seat. That's right, sir. Well, that's my 2 cents. That's right. you heard it from Doc, and this is what's going on as we accelerate Philly every single day. Doc, your grace, your precision, your focus, just your presence. It's all and it's like presidential on this side of it. So Philly is so lucky to have you, building upon what Bill did, and I expect to see you here in 2 years in council, standing on the stage as a finalist for National Superintendent of the Year. Because you're doing some cool, great things. You're going to claim it. I'm going to claim it. Until next time, thank you for joining us in Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I look forward to seeing you in the classrooms. Until next time.